What is going on, guys, and welcome back to episode number 32 now of the Leeds United career mode. We are sat in the Premier League after the last episode. We didn't really have the greatest of episodes, did we? We lost twice in that one and drew the other game as well. So we took on Manchester United, we lost by a goal to nil. We took on West Ham, I do believe, which we ended up drawing 0-0. And then we played Spurs and lost that one 1-0 as well. So in terms of goals, we didn't find one at all last episode, so I'm looking to bounce back from that and try and get ourselves some goals in this one and make sure we try and win some games as well, because we need to pick up as many points as possible. However, the first game of this episode was actually in Europe, and it's the first time we're playing in Europe during this series, which is going to be interesting to see how we're getting on in this one, because I wasn't expected to be in the Europa League, obviously. If you remember a few episodes back, I did mention that my surprise at the fact that we were in the Europa League, and then I remember we got inside because we won the FA Cup, and I actually forgot that the winner of the FA Cup gets put in the Europa League, so that's what we are having to play in this season as well. Luckily, I made a number of pre-contract signings, meaning we do have a nice bit of squad depth here at Leeds, one that we can possibly get out of the group with, and we won't win the Europa League, but we'll be able to get out of the group at least and get a bit more money into the kitty to be able to spend on players come January/next season. So I'm looking forward to seeing how we can get on in this Europa League, and this is the first game coming up here, and it's arguably against the weakest side in the group. You'll see the group coming up here in just a second. I think the group involves Copenhagen, Mönchengladbach, and the side that we are playing right now, but I can't remember the name of them. And when I do see it, there you go, Sturm Graz is the name from Austria. So, in terms of the side to be taken on, this is the weakest one we have in the group, and we are taking them on first, which is nice to see the fact that we've got quite an easy game coming into the Europa League for the first time here. You can see the team that I named. I made a few changes to it just before we came into this. I think Moat's in the side today as well, and he actually captains the side to make it a little bit more interesting. But one thing that I want you guys to recognise as well is the fact that, yes, although we're in the Europa League, I'm not expecting to go anywhere in the Europa League. I'm sort of expecting that we'll be able to get out of the group, but like I said, winning it's going to be very, very tough, because Mönchengladbach is a side that I would have put in the Champions League, and yet they are sat in the Europa League playing in our group, which is going to be extremely difficult when we come up against them. But saying that as well, Copenhagen aren't a side to be pushed over very easily. So both those guys in this group are going to be the two favourites in my eyes to go out, and we're solidly sat in third place in terms of favourites to get out of the group. That's what I'm expecting anyways, because I wouldn't put us as the favourites, especially when you've got Mönchengladbach in this group. I wouldn't put us as second favourites, because I would say that Copenhagen, the experience they've got in Europe, in the fact that they've been in there recently, whereas we haven't been in there, or Leeds haven't been in there, since the glory days of Leeds United, which was a long time ago now. So this is the first time we're back playing in Europe, and I'm not really looking forward to seeing the fact of, if we do get out of the group, who the sides that we'll be able to come up against. But at the same time, it gives us a bit more money if we do manage to get out of the group. That's the side that Sturm Graz had named. I literally have no idea who any of these players are, so by that standard, the thing, then we should be comfortably winning this game, in my opinion, especially when you look at the fact that, yes, we haven't been able to score goals against Premier League sides, but at the same time, the three that we have faced, if you discount Watford, obviously, earlier on in the season, the three that we have faced there, Manchester United, Tottenham and West Ham, are all sides that in my eyes are better sides than us. So taking a point away from West Ham and the two losses away from Spurs and Manchester United, although I was very disappointed at the time, it was to be expected. Whereas this one here against Sturm Graz isn't. We need to be winning this game if we are serious about trying to get ourselves out of this group. And the first chance fell our way here, 27 minutes in, with the number 27 coincidentally, and Alex Moat having his strike saved by the Sturm Graz goalkeeper. Whipped the corner into a dangerous area. I'm not sure who it is actually wins the header. It's Sacco, I think, in the end, winning the header. It comes back off the bar and bounces back to him inside the area, and it's a really simple tap in for our number 24. Back in the side today. He had such a good season last season for us in the Cups. He's going to be there playing for us in the Europa League, and obviously all the Cup games that we have. He will be the man that's going to be in there. But if fortunes do not change in the Premier League, we will have to think about bringing him back into the Premier League side. However, a lot of luck involved in that goal, but I'll take every bit of luck that we can get recently, because at the moment, in the last episode, we didn't have any at all. So to get some in the start of this one in the Europa League, it's nice to see the fact that we've got a bit of luck on our side. Yes, it's against a weaker opponent, so, in terms of that one, we need to be winning this game quite comfortably in my eyes. However, to get the early goal there meant I could just relax a little bit and play it more, I guess you could say, more composed and a bit more sort of, I didn't need the goals in this one. But 34 minutes in, we could have been 1-1, but for a fantastic save from Lafont to keep us at 1-0 in the game. And it went right until the 75th minute before another chance was created in this one, as we managed to get the ball down the left-hand side here, cross the ball into a dangerous area. Kamaru doesn't win the initial header. It comes back to Vernon Anita. He gives it on the edge of the area. I'm not sure who it was to, as we give it inside to Costinha. Goal gaping, but he sent his strike wide of the post. And 77 minutes in, Costinha should have made it 2-0. I'm really not looking forward to this guy and keeping him in the side, because that's two chances now he's had where he should have scored them. If you remember a few episodes ago, was it against Manchester United possibly, where he got through, or it might have even been Spurs. Yeah, I think it was Spurs actually. A simple finish, and yet he missed it, and he's missed one there as well. As in the 90th minute, Sturm Graz were looking to try and get themselves a draw out of the game. We steal the ball back here with, I do believe, Kamaru. Gives it inside here to Sacco. Sacco once more into Costinha. The defender tries to slide to get on the end of it, can't quite manage it, and this time Costinha fires his strike into that top corner to make it 2-0 in the 90th minute. comfortable win here, but I have to say there were a couple of chances that I did not expect to go their way, which did fall Grass's way, and had there been a better side in front of goal, and the fact that Lafont obviously makes that good save earlier on, this game could have gone a whole different way, but it didn't. We managed to pick up a win in our first European game, which is again a very nice thing to be able to say. The fact that we haven't got off to the perfect start in the Premier League, yet we've got off to the perfect start in Europe, makes me a very happy man at the fact that now I can sort of relax in Europe. Although this is the easiest game that we're going to be having to play, I know that the fact that we've got off to a winning start in a game that we should have, won in terms of that one anyways, but the fact that we've got off to a winning start means me not have to worry about going into the Mönchengladbach game, worry about going to the Copenhagen game, already not off to the best of starts. So the fact that we got the win here releases some of that pressure that I've got on me in this European group stage, and it just allows me to be able to play a bit more comfortably in this one. But that's that done, and that's all that matters in this one, the Europa League. I couldn't care less about it. The thing that I am more bothered about is the Premier League. We have 2 games coming up now, which are must-win games. And what I mean about that is we are sat, I think, in the relegation zone, or just out of it at the moment in the Premier League, and we need to try and get some points on the board. A single point is not good enough when you come to the fact that we're going to be having a number of difficult games this season in the Premier League. I don't quite know what it is. Obviously, last season when we were in the Championship and we were playing in the FA Cup and the English League Cup, I had no pressure. I didn't have the pressure of having to win. We were the underdogs. So for some reason, even though I'm going into the Premier League and we are the underdogs there, there's something that's ticked in my side that's not really... They're not being able to score goals in front of goal, and it's getting to the point where I'm sort of thinking, is it my mentality going into these games, at the fact that now we're a Premier League side and we're playing for points, not just for the fact that we're in the competition? Is it because we're playing for points and I do believe that we have to try and get wins and get points on the board? Or is it the simple fact that I'm putting too much pressure on myself at the fact that, although we are just a new Premier League side, I believe that we're better than some of the other Premier League sides in here, and we could easily get top 8. I don't quite know what it is as to why we're not having the performances that I'm hoping for. As you can see there, before going into this game against Hull City, we're sat 19th with 2 draws and 2 losses in our opening 4 games in the Premier League. So at the moment, I'm putting it down to the fact that I'm sort of putting a little bit too much pressure on my side, in the respect that I know the Premier League season goes on for 38 games. There's still so many games to play and so much more games in which we will have chances to pick up 3 points. We're the best defensive side in the league, but again, it doesn't matter. We've conceded 2 goals and we've lost both those games. So if we're only conceding 2 goals so far in the league, but we lose both those games, it really doesn't matter at the end of the day how many goals you concede. The fact is we've lost both those games. So I need to try and get myself some points. I'm going to try for the next few episodes, staying calm, just enjoying the game, just basically playing the same way I did in those FA Cup and these English League Cup games, except now we're a Premier League side. I'll be trying to do it and picking up points rather than getting through to the next round. But I'm going to go back to the mentality of we are the underdogs, we do not need to win the game. That's what I'm going to try and do. Fingers crossed it'll work, because I need something to work for me right now, as we are struggling in terms of getting goals. And that is put down to the fact that I didn't sign a striker. I sort of felt as though we needed to, with the fact that Janssen was leaving the club, I expected us to have enough going forward in the fact that Joe Green was obviously an 80 rated now in the Premier League. I thought to myself, if I signed a goalkeeper and a defender, we'll be good to go this season, but obviously not. We needed a striker, and that's something that I expected, but I didn't have the funds to be able to bring in a striker. And a lot of you guys have recommended that I sign people like Rashford, a number of other strikers, but at the moment, until January rolls back around, we don't have the ability to be able to go in and buy a striker. So I may have to look at training up another few strikers and trying to get themselves into the higher ratings and possibly making a striker from the people that we already have at the club. Someone else left a comment on another video as well, recommending that I train strikers that we already have at the club in Lasanga and Kamaru. So that could be a possibility that we look to do before January. But I definitely do want to try and sign a striker come January time, just to make sure that we have enough in the club to be able to get ourselves into the upper echelons of Premier League football and make us up into the higher places in the league. 11 minutes into this whole game, though, we had the first goal as Felipe Augusto, a centre defensive midfielder, roamed into the Hull penalty area and manages to finish this one off with ease. So, the first goal of the Premier League season, because I don't think we scored yet in this Premier League season, came from a central defensive midfielder. That is how poor we have been in front of goal. A lovely finish by Augusto, I have to say, into that bottom corner. And like I said, I showed you the table just before we went into this, as you saw. When we came into the game, we are sat 1 place behind Hull in 19th place. So this is a must-win game. This is one of those games I'm looking at and saying we've got to get 3 points from this one if we want to stay up this season. This is a 6-pointer effectively, because Hull are in the same place as us, but it's a must-win game. And 27 minutes into it, we should have been 2-0 up. It will be a great turn on the edge of the area. Gets inside the area, but fires his strike wide of the post. And unfortunately, it was still 1-0, as we managed to get a second goal, I do believe, here. Pablo Hernandez into the path of Chris Wood. Oh, no, it's a good save, actually. Chris Wood taking the strike on. A wonderful save by the Hull goalkeeper, though, denies us the second goal. But we did get the second goal, and it came the way in the 85th minute, as Hull had a chance chance for themselves here. Or rather, this isn't. You're going to see it coming up in a second. It's just extremely annoying. I just could not clear this ball. They have about 6 or 7 corners within the space of no time at all. And you're going to see it. It's literally the most annoying thing in FIFA. Silvestri punches the ball out there. And once again, they have another corner, and I think they get another one after this, and then another one. And it's just, I don't know if you've had this happen to you in FIFA yet, but every time you try and clear the ball out from a corner, or something along those lines, or it's in the dying minutes of the game, they seem to get a number of corners in the space of no time at all. And 89 minutes in, they've already had 3 corners at this point. And I was expecting Hull to get themselves back in this at 1-1 as they fire this corner in. It's then eventually cleared by me, not very well I have to say, as we give it back to another Hull player who has a strike at goal, which is saved again by Silvestri, meaning they have yet another corner. At that point I should have smashed the ball out, and I didn't. That's my own fault. So if we conceded from this, I would have had to put it down to my fact of me not clearing the ball when I should have done. Then we end up punching the ball out straight to the Hull defender, Hull winger again. He gets another corner off the fact that we blocked that one, blocked the cross. Al Mohammadi whips this corner in. As you can see, we've had 1 corner in this game. Hull have had 5. And this was eventually cleared away as Iwobi, this is where we should have made it 2-0 rather, as Iwobi gets past a man, the goalkeeper's all the way up, and for some reason Iwobi runs out of steam at the vital point of the game, and Ryan Mason managed to make the tackle, but regardless of that, we managed to win the game by 8-0. So although we've scored 1 goal so far in this Premier League season, we finally won a game, and it means that now I think that's enough to move us just out of the relegation zone and get some points on the board for us. So we sat on 5 points now after that game. As you can see, not fully deserved winners though. We only had 4 shots to their 3 of those on target to their 2. So we only actually had 1 more shot on target, and maybe that was a defining factor in our goal, the fact we managed to score there. Very happy though that we've got 3 points out of that one, so that's 2 wins so far in this episode. We've got obviously the win in the Europa League, then the win in the Premier League, one of which was a 1-0 and the other one was a 2-0. Then we had our first cup game of the series, and this one, man, was the most frustrating game I have had to play so far this series. I apologise, by the way, guys. Joel Green is yet to hit 80. He's going to hit 80 pretty soon from this training system. That's what I got mistaken with. He's 79 overall at the moment. Almost 80 rated. That's what I meant to say. But this coming up game was the most frustrating game of FIFA I think I've played so far. It is absolutely stupid what happens in this game. You'll see it coming up in a second, but it's obviously a game that we should be winning. You know, it's Fulham. We played against them in the Championship last season, and we were one of the sides to be promoted from the Championship. So there's no reason why we shouldn't be winning this one in the AFL Cup, even if we name a weaker side, which is what I did, because obviously Sacco comes in for the Cup games. We want to keep our strongest side possible for the Premier League games, if we can and so do that. But sometimes I may have to name a better team in the Cups if we obviously get further on into the Cups. But for now, it's going to be our second team named. And I felt as though with this second team that we had enough in our locker to be able to beat this Fulham side. As you can see there, that is their side. Scott Parker's still knocking about in the Championship, even though he's about 40 years of age right now. I'm not actually sure how old he is. That's just a bit of an elaboration. I don't quite know actually how old Scott Parker is, but I remember back in FIFA 11 when Ultimate Team came out, that's the first year I ever played Ultimate Team, the first player I kept buying was Scott Parker, and I didn't understand how contracts worked at that point, and I kept having to delete the club, and every time I made a new club, the first sign I would make was Scott Parker, and back then he was at, who was he at back then? Was it Villa? I can't actually remember where he was at last time he was obviously a team, but Scott Parker has a lot of good memories for me, and he's in this Fulham side today that played against our weaker side, as you saw it there just on your screen. I do believe Sacco's in the side, as you can see him there, and obviously Kamar Roof as well playing, but we had a number of players for me that should have been able to get a result out of this one, and I'm going to tell you right now, we don't get a result out of this one, and I was so disappointed to see. And the reason being we don't get a result out of this one, this is why it's the most frustrating game. I don't know if you've been playing FIFA recently, but giving away penalties in this game seems to be more often than not, and it's not a penalty. As you can see here, though, Costinha, again, we set him through one-on-one, 23 minutes into this one. You're thinking, surely going to be 1-0, but he fires a strike straight at the goalkeeper. I've said it time and time again. I'm getting so frustrated with the fact that Costinha can't find the back of the net when he gets into a good position. This is what I'm talking about. Look at this. Explain to me, please, how that is a penalty kick. How many times in this game am I going to give away stupid penalties, which in my opinion are not penalty kicks? It's absolutely stupid what's happening to me. Cooper, yes, he sort of knocks the guy a little bit, but he doesn't even go to the ground. He does not go to the ground, and the referee's given them a penalty kick in this one. So 20 or 34 minutes into the game, rather, they made it 1-0 from this penalty kick, and I'm going to tell you right now, I guessed the right way, but it wasn't saved by Silvestri, and I was so mad at this point. How on earth, is that a penalty kick? In my opinion, he hasn't gone to ground. Cooper really didn't do anything, and yet the referee's seen that as a penalty kick. And the second thing is, although it was a good penalty right in the corner, could Silvestri have saved it? I guessed the right way. We didn't manage to save it, and you're going to see 36 minutes in now, we managed to create a chance for ourselves. Alex Mowat into Hadi Sacco. Sacco gives it out wide here to Jackson, who is in the side today. Sacco brought down the edge of the area, though, meaning we have a free kick here, and Mowat's obviously going to step up to take this one as the designated free kick taker in this second team. Mowat's strike is on target, but it's a good save by Button in the Fulham goal. So 38 minutes into the game, I look to try and get ourselves back straight away into the game, and unfortunately we weren't able to do that as Button comes out to punch, and it comes to Will Jackson, who brings it down, eventually gets the ball back for himself as he gives it off to Murphy. Murphy out wide here to Costinha. Costinha on the right-hand side whips the ball into the area, and Kamaru's header ends up going wide of the post anyway. So, and then we went straight pretty much into the 90th minute, and as I've just said to you guys, I don't really know how we've lost this game and how we are now knocked out of the League Cup, because in my eyes, that is not a penalty, and in my eyes, Silvestri probably should have saved it. But regardless of that, we're out. That was the shortest cup run I think we've had so far this series, and that is an absolutely appalling result. Fulham had one shot on target, and it came from the penalty spot, and they scored it, which is, at the end of the day, the only stat that matters is the goal stat. But again, the fact that we've given away a penalty so simply, and the fact that it's not a penalty is not making me very happy at the fact that I keep giving away stupid penalty kicks, and it's costing us points and games. I gave away one against Manchester United, which cost us that game. Gave away one here, but regardless of that, we are coming towards the end, so thank you all so much for watching, and I'm out. Adios.